All right, everybody, welcome to the JK Theory. Here we talk about anything and everything. No topic gets left untouched, no stone gets left unturned. We talk about everything, even the serious topics, get a little bit of comedic twist to it. At the end of the day, you just got to laugh about life. Am I right?
X.
Absolutely. So today's topic, we're literally just going to shoot the shit, as they say. Topic came up. I said, hey, should we hit record? We agree, so let's do this. So I'm gonna admit this. I don't know. Is this illegal to admit this? I don't even know anymore. But I didn't vote. I didn't vote. I'm gonna give the old age excuse because it's true. I just didn't have time. Um, I'm a father of four kids. Yeah, four kids. I know, and I'm busy. So I didn't vote. And the one of the main reasons why I didn't vote is I couldn't actually find myself to find a reason to like either candidate enough to place my vote. I try to find something that I really liked about Harris, something that I really liked about Donald, and I couldn't. So I don't know. We were just talking there, and Kay, you mentioned something, so I'll let you start it off, and we'll try to rehash what we talked about earlier.
So, America, first of all, uh, yeah, can't change y'all stripes at all.
As you see, I'm wearing MAGA red, right?
Yeah, I see that. Horrible. Uh, I never liked the color red, by the way. Oh,
Yeah, and I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a MAGA fan. I'm not Team Harris either, so I'm extremely like neutral.
so the problem I have with people is the fact that Harris might not be the greatest person, but she's definitely better than the opposite. When you're talking about bringing people together instead of if you don't vote for me, I'm going to do this, this, and that to you. I don't see where people are having that hard of a time deciding what she wants to do. Her plans she has are more for people like us and benefit. And I don't mean just black and Puerto Rican people. I mean middle class people to almost damn near poor people. You know, where Trump is more for people that are like him. Like, let's be honest. Like, I thought for the longest time, because I have to pay in taxes now for some odd reason. And I was pissed. I'm like, fuck Biden, fuck Harris. I'm but to find out that this is still under tax, this is still under Trump's tax plan. His thing doesn't run out to 2025. People don't understand how high the prices are, how he played a huge factor in why the inflation is so high and why it's going down now. When a president becomes president, your policies don't kick in until so long. So the first terms for Biden and Harris, those first couple to few years, we were still under Trump's everything.
Right, right. It is definitely a long game. The first term,
Yeah.
you're planting the seeds. You know what I mean? You're just
Yes.
seeing what you can do, and then you don't actually reap the benefits until later. But you mentioned something earlier about she was saying, if you don't do this, this, and that, what did you mean by that? Like, if you don't do what?
Wait, say it again.
Yeah, so
Which
you mentioned, if you don't vote for me, I'm going to do this, this, and that. What
oh,
was?
Trump was saying, how he's punishing people that pretty much go against him is what he was saying. Like, I don't know
But
why.
what are you talking about? Voters? Or are you talking about people in office?
I'm talking about more people. It's hard to say with him sometimes because he really doesn't go into anything. Like his plans and his views on stuff, you don't know. You have to guess everything. everything is like a guessing game with him.
You think he's
So
being cryptic on purpose?
I mean, I think he's stupid, but he might be saying things and just kind of, what do they call it, word vomit. He
Or
just
just
says
saying it to see who reacts on the
exactly, yeah.
opposition and go
Mhm.
from there? Okay.
But as a president, can you really do that? Like, is that a smart thing to do? If if I'm saying I'm not voting for you, Taylor Swift said I'm not voting for you, I'm going for Harris, and you tweet out, I hate Taylor Swift, really? Because she didn't vote, you hate Taylor Swift because she didn't vote for you?
Now hold up, you viewers, if you don't know, Case talking to me, I'm Mr. Petty. Like I'll put the same shit. I'll be like, your last album's trash. I don't
But
care. I get what you're saying. It's not very presidential. It's not very PC, politically correct, right?
but it's not about being politically correct. You don't know this person. She just don't view you, and she would have never spoke out if you wouldn't have put that fake ass thing up. We're talking about she's voting for you. You know what I'm saying? So you started this, and then when she had to come out and be like, "Hey, I'm not voting for you. That's not who I chose," and now you hate her because of that reason.
Hmm.
Anything that's not for him, he wants to punish.
Right. If you're not with them, you're against them, pretty much.
Exactly. What
Now
type?
that also goes to kind of what we touched base earlier when I mentioned, how he's very he's easy to rub the right way. Like you want to get Trump on your side, just tell him how wonderful he is, right? Like massage his ego.
Yep. He's a
And with
narcissist.
right, yep. You mentioned that several times. And
Mhm.
one thing that I can say that I liked about Trump was how globally he was the man. Like nobody else can fuck with him that way. Like he made peace with a lot of people. He has much respect internationally with leaders. Um, he brought the troops home.
No, he
Like that
didn't.
was a major move.
He didn't do any of that. Well, again, y'all giving this man credit for something he didn't do. He did none of that. Biden brought the troops home. That's who brought the troops home. Biden did that. They were still over there when he got in office. He promised to do stuff like build the wall. Question: when Trump got in office, his the first time Trump got in office, the Republicans had the House for 2 years. In those 2 years, what's the one thing he got approved? The Roe v. Wade. That was his big hoorah bang. What happened to the wall that Mexico was paying for? Are they
That
still paying for that? Are they
that wall sounds good on paper, but that was a stupid ass.
exactly, exactly. What has he done?
He's brought the troops home.
No, that was Biden. Biden brought the troops home because then he complained about Biden bringing the troops home and the way he did it. So he didn't bring the troops home. That was Biden. Let's try again. What did he do? I'll
He
wait.
brought the troops home. Okay, so
I'll wait. Besides riding Obama's coattail, because what he inherited was a better nation because of Obama. Remember what I said is the fact that when he got in terms, Obama had everything rolling. So when he first got there, everything seemed fine and perfect. So besides trying to kill Obamacare, that he still has no plan for after all these years, he has a concept. I have a lot of concepts in life. What has he done besides Roe v. Wade? I'll wait.
he's played a lot of golf.
Huh?
He's played a lot of golf.
Exactly.
He's
Exactly.
he threw paper towels at Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico after the hurricane.
Disrespecting that and the fact that some Puerto Ricans are still after they just called y'all what it was, shit country, pretty much.
He said garbage. I mean, well, not Trump, but
But the person
whoever
that,
they hired
yeah,
to be at that party. Damn. And you know what? Okay, so I know people that do a lot of things, right? I know
mhm,
somebody that actually works in TV, and they've always told me, they're like, hey, when you're going on live television, you can't just wing it.
right,
Like everything you're gonna say has to be pre-approved. You have to write it
mhm,
down, show
yep,
it to somebody, it gets approved. Okay, you can say this, good, boom. If you go off script, bro, you can get fined. You can, I mean, there's a
right,
long list of stuff.
yeah,
So somebody approved that.
yeah, because he was reading off a teleprompter.
So what the fuck? Like, why don't we know who approved that?
Well, according to Trump, like always, he didn't know who the guy was.
Which I can kind of give him that. Because I mean, come on, he was running for president. He has to win or he's going to jail. That's the only reason why I think he's running. He's like, I gotta
That is,
win or I'm going to jail. He's
mhm,
fighting for him.
of
You know what I
course,
mean? I don't see him fighting for the people. He's fighting for him. And he's
yeah,
gonna make his rich buddies even more richer, which, which I kind of have a love and hate over that.
hmm,
I do want to see his rich buddies get richer because when his rich buddies get richer, that money trickles down, stuff gets lower in price, and our pockets get a little bit more chunky instead of light. Our pockets are light right now. When Trump was in office, I was straight. I was straight. COVID hit. Yes, COVID fucked everybody, right? I mean, everything was expensive. But damn, yo, what happened to COVID now? You didn't even hear nothing about COVID. Mind you, I swear, about 4 or 5 months ago, I had to go to the hospital. One of my kids were sick, and there was a rumor about a new COVID strain.
yeah.
And then all this political talk started happening, and COVID disappeared like a magic trick.
I mean, I still see COVID because I work in healthcare. COVID is very much still there.
Yeah.
Now,
But
does
in
it?
the talks, in the news,
I don't think it talks in the news as much as it used to.
it's
No,
insane. It's
definitely.
insane.
But
Anyway, with Trump, there's too many people that are backing him that I'm not on level with. I don't agree with, which is fine. Everybody's different, right? But man, he for me to say Trump is not a racist, okay, maybe he's not a racist, but you got the whole clan behind you.
to say, I will say this. I don't know if Trump's a racist per se, but I don't think he minds racism.
What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I can. So I'm gonna go with the whole: if you teach race theory in school, I'm not going to fund you. Well, what is race theory exactly? That's talking about other people's history, pretty much. That's like Black history. He don't want people to talk about slavery. Why? Because it makes white kids feel guilty. Well, we can't have that now, can we? So what do we do with the Black kids that already have no identity in America, that don't really know much of nothing about their history, and now you're pretty much just going to wipe it away? When are you going to plan on start talking about it? In the 1970s, right after Dr. King got killed? So
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
why is that something that shouldn't be taught in school? Slavery and civil rights and all this other things that happen. Why is that going to be forgotten about? Why is that okay? Why are people okay with that in the first place?
Yeah, it's totally wrong. And on top of that, allegedly, supposedly, I'm not one that believes in Christmas and all
Right.
these holidays or whatnot. I mean, I celebrate it, right? I don't, but
Right.
Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fortunate enough, and I say fortunate, some people might not think it's fortunate, but I grew up in the hood. I went to
Right.
school in the hood.
Yeah.
Even Black History Month, we didn't study the whole month. As
No.
a kid, we might have colored some pictures. You know, this is MLK. This is what he did. And as you get older in the grades, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, it's more like, hey, we don't have school this day, so we'll see you the next day, and that's it.
Hmm.
The only, and then this is back in the day when, I mean, I'm not damn old, but this is back in the day when they used to roll the TV in on the TV cart, right? The VCR, and they'll play the video, and it's the I Have a Dream speech.
Yeah.
But then that's it. Like, there's no, like, they don't talk about this is why he did that speech. There's no talk about this is what happened after he did the speech. And that's the whole Black history. That's it. They mention slavery, but they don't talk about slavery.
No.
They don't talk about how people were being raped and killed and assaulted and forced to have sex and what kind of they weren't just picking cotton.
No.
You know what I mean? They weren't told they didn't talk about how the Europeans tricked the slaves. You know, I don't even like to call them slaves. They tricked the Africans to come on the boat, and they just went willy nilly till they hit a fucking island. They hit Puerto Rico too. You
Yep.
know what I mean? They hit
Mm.
the U. And there's a quote, and you hear it all the time. And whoever started the quote, genius. But history repeats itself.
Yep.
So why are they trying to get rid of the history?
You know why? When you say "Make America Great Again," what are they talking about? What part? What part of America was great for everybody? Because it's easy to say it was great for certain people at certain times because it benefited them. But as a whole, when was America great?
The only time that I can remember America Great, and I was a kid, didn't
Hmm.
really know, but when Clinton was in office,
Hmm.
I was straight. I wasn't, my family wasn't really struggling as much. Everything was fine. Yes, he had a little scandal going on,
Yeah.
but it was like, okay, that happened, whatever. But
Like
exactly, make America great again. That's a great slogan,
it is.
but you need to have some, what's the meaning behind it? And
Exactly.
they ask him, when was your America great? What exactly are you talking about? I think he just should have said, let's make America great and
Exactly.
not the again. That again, dude.
Because when I'm thinking they're talking is not ideal for either one of us. Because if you look to see what they're saying, give the police immunity. Well, when the hell did the police have immunity? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean that's so dumb, dude. I get what he's saying, and it's frustrating because yeah, there are situations that a cop should do something, but legally he can't. But to just give immunity to every cop, I'm not saying every cop is bad, but homie, the majority of the cops are bad. You know, they're the biggest gang in the world. And you have to think, why are they the biggest gang in the world? Because they don't snitch on each other.
Nope.
They're not like the street gangs. They're not the Bloods and the Crips and the Latin Kings and the Nietas and all this. They know if they snitch on their blue, it's over.
It's a wrap.
So how many times is has a good cop seen a bad cop do something and nothing happened?
Exactly. So can you call yourself a good cop if you let that shit go?
Yeah. And then there's a shortage in cops. People don't want to be cops. They don't want to be cops because of that reason. And then the guys that do get hired to be cops, I'm sorry, there's like a stigma where it's always the guy that was bullied in high school,
Yep.
or the girl that was made fun of, or the nerd that all of a sudden hit the gym and pumped some iron and thinks he's the shit. And do you realize you go to training longer to be a barber than you do to be a police officer.
That's crazy.
And the whole, defund the police, defund the police, I think is the stupidest thing. I get it because if you want to mess with the man, you got to do what? You got to fuck with his money.
Hmm.
Plain and simple. You got to mess with his money. So defund the police, I get that, but it shouldn't be defund the police. It should be train the police.
Well, the whole defunding the police, I think people took it out of what it really was supposed to mean. It didn't mean break down the police. It meant that they need more people within the police, not just the police. So when these people with mental health are acting a certain way, you have those social workers and people that can talk to people with mental health issues with them so they can help bring them down where they don't get shot and killed because they're not in their right frame of mind, and it's really not their fault because they have a stigma to them, which they are dangerous, but at the same time they're not really dangerous. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where, yeah, you can put people in danger, but I'm more of a threat to myself than I am to you.
Gotcha. Yeah. But to say that, let's give police immunity, it's like, whoa, hold your horses. I get, okay, I understand what you're saying, but you're using the wrong words,
Exactly.
and that's dangerous. If you're going to be president, you're going to be the CEO of the United States, you got to watch your mouth. And I'm not trying to be slick or whatever, but it's weird. It's so I heard the saying from a parent to a child,
Hmm.
where children know what you say, they don't know what you mean.
Exactly.
And being president, you kind of got to go through that same thing.
Yep.
You can do the what I mean in the locker room talk, but when you're talking on the mic, you're talking to the world. You don't think Iraq's listening? You don't think Russia's listening? You don't think, like, come on, fam. So again, going back, I don't I don't trust either of them. I don't like either of them. I'm not happy with either of them, but we got what we got. And it's almost like something that I recall posting years ago when Trump was going up against Hillary, where I said, it's almost like you're gonna vote for a bowl of shit. You want the bowl of shit with the nuts or without the nuts? Either
But
way,
see,
you're gonna get a bowl of shit.
I don't think it's a fair assessment of her because of all the things she's done that's actually been good that people overlook and they don't really bring forth to the table.
But what has she done as VP?
Her job,
What's her
like,
job?
her job is to back whatever Biden wants.
Because I
So
thought it was borders are and
no,
all
that's
this
not a
bull.
thing. That's not a real thing. People listen to him like he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. He knows nothing about anything. This man knows nothing. Our he wants to make Kennedy uh, above the fucking health thing. What does
RFK?
Kennedy know? What does Kennedy know about health? Nothing.
Oh, the guy with the throat problem?
Yes.
He wants to appoint him the head of the health?
Yes. What does he know about health?
I don't
Nothing.
know. I don't know his background like that, but I don't.
I do. It's nothing to do with health. Like, he has no idea. As long as you massage him, he will. You rub my back, I rub yours. That's all you got to do.
So okay, let's just so the election's going on right now, right?
Sadly.
It hasn't been official, like it's not over. We probably won't know until tomorrow or a few days.
Right.
However, let's just play devil's advocate right now.
Okay.
Okay. If Trump wins,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you're a Democrat, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So let's just say you're Team Harris,
Okay.
who Team Harris is backed by the Dems, right?
Right. Yes.
So if Harris loses
Hmm.
and Trump's in office,
Yeah.
the Dems can actually use Trump's weakness as a narcissist in their advantage. Because
They
now
could.
all they got to say is, hey, good job. That was amazing. Blah, blah, blah. Massage his ego. And then he can appoint them a position or
He
point
won't
them
do
in
that.
charge of this or point them in charge of that.
He won't do that because of the things that they've said already.
But if you're a narcissist, it's almost like he's the dumb hot girl, right? Where like you're talking all this shit, and then all of a sudden, oh damn, that dress looks nice on you. Oh my god, you're glowing. What you got? Like a new
Yeah.
skincare going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like you just massaging it, and then you're in.
True. I mean, I guess that could be. Um, Me personally, I'm not one for kissing nobody's ass that I don't like. If I don't like you, I don't like you. Point blank.
Well, that's
Period.
because you're not a politician. But
Thank God, because
it's being a salesman. You're just selling yourself. That's all it is.
that's it. I mean, but I guess someone could get away with it. I would never do nothing like that because I feel like a sellout. Um, but I mean, I guess you can. I don't think majority of them will. Hell, Republicans didn't even want to vote for him. The Republicans that was in office, they didn't want to vote for him. Like it's a difference between Republicans and MAGA.
Yeah, but the Republicans, they have to vote their GOP nominee, and that's who they wanted. They wanted Trump. Who else were they going to put up?
They didn't necessarily want Trump. He just put up. He was the face of them already. Like people, the MAGA was so big that they couldn't ignore it.
Okay, but if they didn't want Trump, who else were they going to put up? Who else were they going to represent?
What
Who
about that
who
dude that you were talking about? What's his name?
Vivek Ramaswamy, who I believe will be president one day. Um, just like you said, MAGA is such a movement.
Yeah.
Vivek, he almost looked like a plant. Like, wow, where'd you get this guy? Like all of a sudden he's this. And but
Hmm.
then if you start looking into his background, you're like, oh, this guy's a billionaire. He's president of a pharmaceutical company that he created, and he literally came from nothing and whatever the case. But let's say Trump's in office, he
Yeah.
wins, he's president.
Hmm.
The next 4 years,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to happen? Mind you, it's the long game.
You want my honest opinion?
Yep.
This is what I honestly think is going to happen. I think it's going to be perfectly fine the first couple years. I think something's going to turn it around. And I don't want to say this, but this is what I feel like is going to happen. One of them cops is going to kill either a black or a brown person. They're going to let them off, and all hell is going to break loose.
Like another Rodney King situation.
Worse.
Yeah.
People forget. People forget how 2020 went. That was under Trump's watch when all
That
the
was a big
riots was
year.
happening.
Yeah. Well, didn't that car thing happen? And was it North Carolina?
Where the guy ran over the.
That was oh my god. Yeah, he ran over a couple people. I think he killed one or two.
Yeah. So I don't know why they think anything would be different, especially if that happened then, and the cops technically didn't have immunity, and you give them immunity. What do y'all think is about to happen now?
Okay, so I mean, we both know that there's certain things that the president can't do, or if
Right.
he tries to do, it's going to get shut down, right?
Yeah.
So if he didn't give the cops immunity when he was president of the United States, what makes
Mhm.
you think he can pull it off now?
Because Republicans are in office.
But they were in office when he was president.
But he didn't propose that before. When he talks about places that should be, I don't want to say like changed. What places are you talking about? He's not talking about places where it's a lot of white people. He's talking about places where it looks like us. What does he plan on doing there? He's talking about putting military people in to clean up. He wants one violent day, real violent day.
Wait,
This is
that's
his.
against the Constitution, right? You can't. I think that's one of the.
I'm sorry. Did you not see January 6th?
Are you doing a play on words? Not see, not see. Are you trying to get Eminem-ish?
I'm just saying.
That January 6th was weird, but however, there's video footage. There was security and cops in there telling people, go there, go there. Look at this. Walking them through it. That shit was a hoax. That was planted. That was not a hoax. It's not a hoax, but it was assisted.
It might have been
Antifa was a thing. Antifa was real. There were people literally wherever there were large crowds. It was known there was like care packages. If it was like Call of Duty, dropped off with bottles and bats and all this bullshit for people to destroy their community or their area or whatever the case.
Let's keep it a buck, 100. Those were Trump fans.
We don't know. We don't.
I do know
because that could literally
100% fact. We could.
No, you can't say 100% fact.
130%. I will put that on everything I love. That was Trump people.
Okay, so we'll play devil's advocate on this. So go ahead and elaborate, and then I'll flip it.
Okay. When he spoke about certain events and the election being rigged and all this other bullcrap, that unites people that believe in him so much that they were willing to go the extra mile for him, like we see they do now. No matter what he says, no matter what he does, no matter anything with him, it's always right. Nothing he does is ever wrong. So if I can prove to you and I can show my loyalty that they rigged this, I'm going to do it.
So you're saying
it's a
the
call.
Drama, the Antifa, the care packages, whatever you want to call it, that was all just him adding fuel to the fire.
That's pretty much. If you can.
But for what? So he can play Mr. Cleanup and look like the hero, or to make more division within people, or to destroy the hood so that you can bring the military in and do what he needs to do? Like what?
Are we talking about the riots, or are we talking about January 6th?
For the riots or January 6th too, yeah. Like what is his game in that? Like if he decided, yes, this is what I want to accomplish, let's do this, what do you think was going to happen? Like America was going to beg, please come back, be president. Like what was his end game?
If he didn't think that, then he wouldn't have said it, because if you remember, Republicans went to him telling him to have his people stop. If I don't think you have the power to stop these people, why the hell am I going to tell you to ask them to stop? As far as the riots go, I don't think he cared, to be honest with you. Because again, and I never understood this, and I wish people, first, let me be clear, I don't like riots. I don't. I think it's horrible. But at the same time, if you're going to riot and break up stuff, stop doing it in your fucking neighborhood. Do it in their neighborhood. Fuck they shit up, because then they pay attention more. You're not doing anything by burning your own stuff down. So, no, I don't think he cared. I think it was a time for him, as he did, to bring in military people. That's what he wants. he wants to have a reason to make us look bad and so forth and so forth.
So,
So yes,
flipping it,
yes,
let's say, he's not purposely doing this, right?
okay, hmm,
Let's say this is the opposition, this is the Democrats or
okay,
the people against Trump
hmm,
trying to make him look as horrible as possible,
right,
trying to plant people to incite the riots, trying
hmm,
to plant people to pretty much start shit.
right,
Um, to the viewers listening, I lived in Milwaukee for a few years. I got family a few, in Milwaukee, so a lot of riots have happened there. I followed a lot of it, and they were very peaceful
yeah,
to a point. All of a sudden, somebody breaks a glass window and shit goes left fast. I know the people in Milwaukee. I love the protesters in Milwaukee. They're not about violence.
no,
They're about, I'm going to talk to you. I'm
hmm,
going to be angry when I talk to you because I want you to listen. But I'm not going to hit you. I want to hug you and embrace you, but you got to hear me out, right? So a when a glass window gets broken and people start rushing in, I'm sorry, I don't feel that's people from Milwaukee. I don't feel that's the rioters. I feel, or the protesters. I feel that these are plants coming in, causing the shit. And then all of a sudden is, if they do it, I'm going to do it too. Oh, I could use another TV or I could use diapers or whatever the case is. I can storm Walgreens,
yeah,
you know, there's been so many rumors. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it. I haven't caught it on video or seen it on video, but so many rumors of packages being dropped off, weapons being dropped off, bricks, sticks, whatever being dropped off, while the peaceful protests are happening. So all that shit can just start. And I'm sorry, Milwaukee is also a very gun happy and gun toting place. And all it takes is just one pop and people scatter. So there wasn't very much gunplay happening. It was mostly bashing and destroying of the
yeah,
community. So now that I've said that,
hmm.
can you kind of see my side where maybe, oh shit, maybe these were out people from the outside being planted into cause of shit?
I do know one video. I've seen one video. I will say that when the riots first started happening, and I want to say this was the very first one. Protesters were protesting. There was a man, a white gentleman. He was in a police uniform.
I'm sorry. No, what? A police uniform?
He was in a police uniform,
Shit. Okay.
and
And he
they were
wasn't
telling.
police.
I don't know if he was police or not. I have no idea. I'm not gonna say he was. I'm not gonna say he wasn't. I don't know. But he literally was the one to bust down the windows, and the protest was like, "No, no, no," and he did it. And then that's when people start running in, taking stuff. Like he literally was the first person to knock down a window at it was some
Oh,
kind
I
of
think I know
store.
what you're talking about. Wasn't that on Martin Luther King Boulevard? At
That might have
Walgreens right there on the corner?
it might have been. I seen the video for it, and literally people were saying, "No, don't do that. No, no, no," and he bashed it in, and that's where some other people just came rushing in. Now, I do know in Milwaukee that there were a lot of peaceful, like most of the protests were very peaceful.
Yeah.
They were just walking. At nighttime is when other stuff started happening. So you can't really say it was the protesters that was doing this. It was something separate that was going on. But they tied it all together. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But it to me, it just didn't seem like it didn't feel like it was Milwaukee residents causing the bullshit.
Right. Yes.
It just seemed like it was outsiders, and there was rumors of people being bussed
Yeah,
from
yeah.
other
I
towns,
did
and
hear that.
yeah. So I mean, it sounds crazy, but shit, man, the truth sounds crazy sometimes.
It does. But is it really far from the truth? Because look at that Kyle
Rittenhouse,
Rittenhouse.
yeah.
He wasn't from that area. What are you protecting? Why are you so invested in protecting something that's not even yours
Hmm.
or where you're from? That made no sense. And why does a 17-year-old have a gun like that? So yeah, I get what you're saying, but as far as the January 6th thing go, I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. If that wasn't his people, then all those people that was there would be calling for him to tell them to stop.
Okay, excuse me. But could it also be maybe it was his people as far as Trump supporters,
Hmm.
but then you have your plants in there too,
I
and
mean,
your plants stirring the pot, causing the shit.
you might have, but I think that's I think it's more far fetched because of what he says ignites hate more than anything else. Like if you listen to his speeches, they're mostly bully speeches. They're always, I hate this person. I can't stand this. Violence needs to happen there. Like those are hate speeches. Whether people like it or not, they are. And he ignites people. If I'm already around, if I'm already supporting you and you're saying stuff like this, it just brings it out more.
It's weird because it's like, you say, and you're right. I mean, I agree with you where he incites all this hate speech in the US. But when he's talking to global leaders, it's all peace and love and peace and love. And rather than North Korea when he was going at it with Kim Jong Un. But however, that ended up working out.
Right.
But yeah, it's almost like his house is messy, his house
Yeah.
being the US, but he wants to play role model everywhere else.
Pretty. But if people really paid attention, the outsiders are looking in at him, and people be like they're scared. They're not scared of him. They know how to work with a person like that because it's easy.
It's the ego.
I can get what I want from you, as you've seen. For a person that is so American and everything, all his stuff is made in China. Well, we got things in America that can make everything that you want, but you don't come to America to get his stuff. He goes right to China. Them Bibles that he got, made in China. Them ugly ass shoes that he promote, made in China. Nothing is made in America from him, but he
It's
loves America
cheaper.
so much.
You got the business part of you where it's cheaper.
But
However, it's not patriotic. It's not presidential of him. He should support within the US.
if your biggest thing is keeping everything in America, as he say, then wouldn't that be the first thing to show I'm for America?
Yeah. And then support companies that are US based.
Exactly. But he doesn't do that. And again, his followers don't care. Like nothing he does matter to them. He can say, if you can quote Hitler to me and everything is okay and blue skies, that tells me a lot about who follows him.
You know what's weird, bro? It's like, okay, when Obama first ran,
Hmm.
it was such a big deal, right? It's like, oh my gosh, these guys running for president. This might be our first black president. Boom, boom, boom. He gets in, okay, gets a second term, has some beef with Trump. Not very much, but has some beef. Trump's like, where's your birth certificate? Blah, blah, blah. This is before Trump even thinks about running.
Yeah.
Anyway, he does the second term. And now here comes Hillary versus Trump.
Yeah.
And it was almost like this is how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that, and I'm gonna say it like this because I don't
Yeah.
know if we're gonna get struck on YouTube or whatnot, but it just felt like the man was so sick and tired of seeing a black man in position that they wanted somebody that's gonna rule with the iron fist. And Hillary ain't gonna be that person.
Right.
So they voted the star because
Mm-hmm.
he had no political
No.
background or anything. I think he had just finished maybe 2 years ago the show that he had.
The Apprentice, I believe.
Yeah. So and then it was almost like the racist floodgates open.
Yeah. Yep.
It was all khaki pants and tiki torches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was a lot of hate.
Because you bring in somebody that promotes it and doesn't mind it. And when you have a person in power that makes you comfortable being who you really are, that's what happens. The thing with Obama, it's the same thing, and that's why I said he's a one pony trick. The same thing he said with Obama is the same thing he said with Harris. It's the exact same thing played over and over again. And it's a race bait, is what it is. Why do why does this woman have to prove that she's black per se? Does it really matter what color she is?
Yeah,
No.
I think it's all bullshit. At the end of the day, it doesn't. I mean, it gives you something to talk about, right? It,
Exactly.
it, it gives you like a little stain to be like, it all it does is just say, hey, if she can lie or hide this, then you can assume she's gonna lie and hide about other shit.
But
But when it comes to brass tacks, who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter.
why does nobody question him about him being German?
Exactly.
Where's your German heritage?
So Trump gets in,
Yeah.
he becomes president.
Yep.
One thing that I believe is gonna happen if he becomes president is we're gonna go another 4 years with no wars. And that's one thing you can't take away from him. When he was president, there was no war. It was peace. Even during the pandemic, when we're technically weaker, I don't want to say weak, but we're hit because of the pandemic. We had no wars going.
But we did. We had war within America.
Okay, but not war within. Now you know what I mean, like war with other
But I don't,
countries.
I don't but us having war with other countries, we haven't had war with other countries in a while. Like there's no real thing out here right now for us to have a war with.
I mean, war's a money grab like a motherfucker.
Exactly.
You know, it was wars through the whole through Bush one, Bush two, Obama one, Obama two, and then Trump comes in and there was talk about war. We thought we were gonna go into World War III because all the bullshit he's putting on Twitter and all that shit, fucking with North Korea. However, he met with political parties and everything was chill.
But when Obama was in office, he didn't start a war. That was a war that was inherited because of Bush.
It was a carryover, right? Right. It was a carryover.
So he didn't really, there was no real war when Obama was in office. And the person that brought the troops home was Biden. It wasn't Trump. So there was still a thing going on when Trump was in office. He didn't do what he said he was going to do. Hardly anything he said he was going to do, he didn't do.
But bro, I mean, we don't fact check here, but we probably should fact check. But I'm pretty damn sure Trump brought the troops home.
No,
And
Biden
when,
brought the troops home,
but okay, but Biden's still president, right?
technically.
We still got troops in other countries right now.
We can't. There will always be troops in other countries. There will never be a time, no matter who the hell the president is, there won't be troops in other countries because we have bases in other countries.
No,
We
no, no.
have to,
Besides bases, like we got troops like ready to go. Like
but
shit happens, is ready to go.
that's always going to be there. No matter who's president, they're always going to be there. No matter who. When Trump was in office, they were still there. Like it doesn't matter who's in office; those people don't technically leave, and when they do leave, more people come to take their place. Like that's just how it works.
Right, but I'm not talking bases. I'm talking like different, like ready to go, like fighting. Like there are wars. There's bombs going on around them. They're just ready to get the green light and go. Like
That's
when Trump brought the troops home, yes, the ones at the bases stayed there, but we're talking like war areas. There were no troops there. Troops came home.
I'm sorry, I must have missed when he brought the troops home. When was this?
This was when I moved here to PA. So 2021,
That was Biden.
I want to say 2021.
2021, Biden was in office.
Oh shit. Because I remember talking to my neighbor. I got a neighbor, not to give out my geographical area, but I got
Yeah.
a neighbor that he's in the army,
Yeah.
and I talked to him and a few of his buddies, and they backed Trump 100%. They even mentioned, yeah, he brought the troops home, like he brought us home, and we support him. And what was weird, and now that I'm thinking about it, back then he had so much support from the troops,
Mhm.
and you don't hear none of that shit now from either side. Like
No,
nobody's asking what the troops think. The troops, what happened? Like there's no talk.
it's quite funny because with the what he says about and again,
Because the troops can vote.
yeah, yeah, they can vote. Um, what he says about those people are disrespectful. When you can say that I don't respect the ones that got caught, I don't respect those guys. Like
The POWs,
the troops that have been
prisoners of
caught
war. Yep.
before. You know what I'm saying? By the enemy that got captured.
Yeah, prisoners of war.
Yeah. When you say you don't respect those people, that's shitting on those people. That's shitting on the military. Something you won't even do. You won't even go to a military. You had some kind of foot sprain or some shit that your daddy got you out of.
I gotta hang now.
Like, come on now. Like, I don't. Yeah, I don't know, man. America is
I
just
mean, come on, we know you got money, you ain't going. That's
exactly,
just it. That's just it.
exactly.
Plain and simple. Okay, so devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Let's say Harris wins.
Hmm.
You know what's gonna happen. He's gonna cry and bitch and moan. It was
Yeah.
stolen. It was
Mhm.
taken. They burned the ballots. They miscounted. Blah 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 blah. But he's old. So do you think he's even gonna pursue the election was stolen?
Yeah.
But
Because
why? Why?
he's never
Because if it goes to court or whatever, right? It's gonna take 2 or 3 years. Kamala's still gonna be president for the 2 to 3 years. And let's say it goes his way. What happens then? Does he like say it takes 2 to 3 years, Kamala's president 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
It's found that yeah, it was stolen. So does Trump get the year that's left, or does he get 4 years from there? Like what happens?
You don't get anything. Like,
You get a gold star.
yeah, that's it. Okay, you prove
Oh
something.
shit.
You don't get anything though. It ain't like they can rip it away from her.
Okay. You know what I'm scared of is I'm because there's been talk of what's it called, man? When they not recruit you but force you to go to war, like to go to the military.
Oh, the
The
draft.
draft.
Mhm.
There's been talk about the draft
Yeah.
about a month or two before the whole political rage bullshit.
Right.
Um, My daughter just turned 18,
Yeah.
and we got a letter about a draft.
Yep.
So that's scary, especially to me as a parent.
Yep.
I I kind of see if Harris becomes president, I can see a possible draft happening. I can see us going to war. For some reason, I just see war when it comes to Harris. I don't think she's, and not to be sexist, but I don't think she's man enough for the position. I
I
don't
don't.
think she can hold her own. I
I
don't
don't.
think she can
Yeah.
talk to these people. She can barely hold a 40-minute interview or 30-minute interview. Like,
He
she just
knows
jokes
10
around.
words. Okay. He literally knows 10 words that he says through his whole speeches. He's a horrible talker. He's a
No,
horrible.
no, 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 no. We talked about Trump. I just want to talk about Kamala now.
So when we talk about her, I don't think that there's going to be a war. I don't think people think that because she's a woman and they think she's weak, but I don't see that when I see her. I don't see a weak person. I'm pretty sure she can hold her own perfectly fine. And she's not the one in war. The army is still the army. They are who they are. If we go to war, we just go to war. My biggest problem is going to war within us. That's what I'm scared of. I'm never worried about us fighting another country. It's going to happen eventually, whether it's her, Trump, or whoever is the next president after that. There's going to be a war that's coming, regardless of the fact. We're not going to be able to stop it.
I almost felt that when the riots were happening,
Mhm.
especially in Milwaukee. I mean, I saw footage of, I don't remember if it was an actual tank, but it was definitely some army
Yeah,
Humvees
yeah,
driving through the neighborhood. Like,
yep.
and this is under Biden, who Biden is. I don't know if I'm going to use the right word. He's a regime of Barack. So Harris would be a regime of Biden. So it's just a continuation of this shit.
But that wasn't under Biden. That was under Trump.
The riots.
That was all under Trump.
Oof. So that's a scary thought.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's what I've been trying to tell people. All that stuff that happened, that was under Trump. That was all under Trump. If you go back, that was 2020. That was his. That was him. That was all him. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about other countries. I'm worried about what's going to happen within ourselves. Because it's going to get very dangerous very soon. When we talked about how racist people became, well, they were already racist, but they were okay to show it now. And then the police thing, something bad is going to happen. And I pray that it doesn't. I hope it's just my, you know, paranoia.
hallucination.
Yeah. But, bro, you heard what I said.
So do you think something's going to happen bad either way?
I think it can, but I think it's more unlikely it happened under him when somebody ignites hate.
Yeah. Okay. But if Harris wins, I mean, do you think, like the man is going to start shit?
Possibility. I mean, I think he's going to do what he did before and talk about his rig, and that's going to unite hate within. Yeah,
That's insane, man. Why do you think Kamala didn't do Joe Rogan's podcast?
I don't know. I don't know if I would have. I don't know if I would have did his podcast if I was her, because all he was going to do is try to manipulate the situation. Because he's a Trump fan, so he's going to do everything in his power to try to make her look bad.
No,
Like,
he's not that kind of interviewer.
oh, he's
Like, he
definitely
can be a Trump fan, but he just talks. He just talk. He doesn't try to manipulate the.
bullshit. I watched him. I watched his show. I watched when he said, when Biden made a comment and he was quoting Trump. He was making fun of what Trump said, and Rogan was like, "Oh man, he should not be in office. He thinks that." And then the person that was the person on his pod was like, "I'm glad that you said that because he was actually quoting what Trump said." And he was like, "Oh, Trump was probably just playing, yada yada yada." He is definitely like that. He's one of them. I've watched his interviews. I've heard what he said. I've listened to him. He's one of them. He was going to do nothing but try to make her look bad. And she said, "I will give you an hour." Or he had an hour. Somebody was for an hour. And they were
Yeah,
like,
he had an hour, but that's not his interview thing. He interviews, 3 hours.
exactly. So why does she only get that time?
No, it wasn't. That was her people saying, "I'll give you an hour," and he said no. Like at first it was 40 minutes, and the guy was like, "Oh, my podcast we're usually 3 hours. We do it at my place. It's comfortable. It's private. Nobody's around. Whatever. You can bring your security detail, whatever the case is." And then they came back and said, "Well, we can do an hour." He was like, "If you can do three, let's definitely do it." And then he agreed to an hour, and then it just couldn't work out. They wanted him to fly out to where she was at. And I get that part because damn, she's running for president. Like she's got to see as many people as possible.
Right.
However, if you look at the numbers,
Mhm.
that interview, Joe Rogan and Trump did more views than every single interview that Kamala's did put together. Like it shitted on Shannon Sharp shit. That Shannon Sharp shit was a joke. That shit was stupid. Um, she would have reached more people.
But it wouldn't have mattered. Like
Oh, it
the,
matters because if it didn't matter, then they
it wouldn't
wouldn't have done it. They
it
would
wouldn't
not have
matter
done it either
because
way.
I'm gonna tell you why it wouldn't matter. Because America was going to vote for who they were going to vote for already. She wasn't going to swing anybody, regardless of the fact, because America is what America is. Joe Rogan show was not going to hit anything. If that was the case, Fox News, when she did that interview and killed them, her thing would have went up way more. The debate, it would have went up way more because she's killed everything that his platform is on. But at the same time, her numbers don't go up. Why? Because people don't care. They already looked at her as what they looked at her as, and they already want him because of who he is and how he brings things out. So it wouldn't matter if she did the show or not. I personally, I would have liked her to do the show just for the simple fact she probably could have made him look stupid too, but it wouldn't have changed anything because if that was the case, the debate and when she went on Fox News would have changed it.
I wish they would have done another debate.
He didn't want it. She made him look stupid the first time. You think he was going to do it again? Anything that makes him look. If it was Biden, he would have did it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like that shows what type of person he is.
you beat on the weak.
Exactly.
Man, it's going to be interesting. We should know in a couple days, which is another thing. Like it's 2024. How the fuck
Yeah.
we don't know immediately?
Because it's other ballots that's coming in.
And what happened to when Trump was running last?
Mhm.
Don't mail your votes. Don't do the mailing thing. Show up, show up, show up. And now it's like, fuck it, do whatever. Like mail it in. I don't give a fuck.
At one point when he was that last election, it was funny because his people was like, stop the vote," and then other places like, keep the votes going. Like, I just, it's hilarious. Like, so if Trump wins, is it rigged or is everything back to being the way it's supposed to have been in the first place? Everything was okay. It's all peaches and cream. Is that how that works?
That's another thing too. If Trump wins, I think Kamala should say this was rigged, and do an investigation. Because you know damn well if it was the other way, Trump would have did the same thing.
He would have, but I don't think she's like that. I think she's just gonna be like, okay, I lost, I took my L, and I'm
Nah,
gonna
fuck
go.
that. She's still young. She can still fight and argue it.
She can. She's a prosecutor. Uh, but I think she has more morals than that. Me personally,
So
I probably would have been petty like that, but
I'll be petty as shit. Anyway, so as it sits right now, we got Trump sitting at 230 electoral votes,
yeah,
and we've got Harris sitting at 210.
yep.
Pennsylvania is still undecided,
Hmm.
and everybody's looking at PA right now because supposedly, if Trump wins PA
It's over.
and one other state,
Yeah,
in order for Kamala to win, she has to get all the other states.
all the other states. Yep.
So PA is all eyes on them.
Yep.
You know what's weird? Like, how the fuck did Trump? Okay, I know how, but I'm just gonna say it. How the fuck did Trump lose New York when you're Mr. Skyline, right? Like you're Mr. New York. You built the city pretty damn much, but you lost New York
New York don't
because
like him.
especially with that stupid ass Puerto Rican shit, saying that the island is garbage and throwing paper towels and doing all that. Like you dumb fuck. Like the Puerto Rican Day Parade happens every year in New York, and it's like 10 million plus people show up. 10 million plus people show up. New Jersey is just like another fucking New York. It's Puerto
Yeah.
Ricans everywhere. Like, how did you lose Jersey and New York? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
He's never been like in New York. It's like Giuliani. They don't like.
Giuliani was a gangster. I don't care what anybody says. That man ran that city the way he wanted to. You couldn't fuck with Giuliani. He wasn't the right man for the job, but he was Mr. Untouchable.
He was corrupt as fuck.
Yep. He was puffy without the freaky parties.
Exactly.
Man. So I don't know. I kind of wanted to end this podcast with the whole, hey, the new president is blah, 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 but
Yeah.
we ain't gonna know. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. So either way, let us know what you guys think. If you want to share who you voted for, that'd be dope. If not, just let us know if you voted. Be like, yep, I voted. I did my part. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know. If you want to reach out to us directly, hit us up at our email, thejktheory@gmail.com. And once again, I'm Jay,
Okay.
and this is the JK Theory. Till next time, peace.
Peace.
I look high as hell. I don't even smoke.